Yo, what is up, guys? This is Brickdough here, and today we thought we'd change up our videos a little bit, and we're going to be doing a top three Lego Star Wars Mocs. And these are not our creations; these are by other builders. And we'll go ahead and leave a link in the description for every single one of these sets, including who the builder is and where you can purchase the instructions. So without further ado, K-Bricks, go ahead and lead it off.
Yeah, just wanted to make it clear too. We're not sponsored by any of these builders or anything like that. These are just our own opinions. So, just starting off, the first one I have is the Darth Maul bust from Bricker Builds, and I found out about Bricker Builds relatively new. I found them on Instagram probably about a month ago. You've probably seen some of their clone trooper helmets also for sale, instructions also for sale. But for me, the one that really interests me is the Darth Maul bus. Now, obviously, I like all of them, but for me personally, the actual Lego set, the Darth Maul bus, is something that I've always wanted, and even used. That thing's going to run you $500-$600. I just think Darth Maul is such a unique villain in the Star Wars universe, and that Darth Maul bus that Lego created is just super unique. It looks really awesome as a display piece. And when I saw this Brooker Builds Darth Maul, yes, it looks more like the Clone Wars Darth Maul, but I'm okay with that too because I watched the Clone Wars and really enjoyed Darth Maul in the Clone Wars too. Getting a little more in depth into his character. But just taking a look at the build, I'm also a fan of the way they were able to shape it too, not just doing the head, but kind of shaping down the full bust up to his upper chest and then shaping it nicely too. So this set, these instructions actually would be a 3,474 pieces. The instructions are $40, which I'd say is pretty fair in my opinion for as far as custom building instructions. I'd say usually they're on that $40 range or so. If you wanted to buy these parts too, actually, none of the parts are unique or anything like that. So you're kind of looking at an average of maybe like 10 cents per piece, after shipping. So I on the website, they have an estimated parts cost of $240. I assume that doesn't include shipping. So, shipping is just definitely going to be a decent portion of it. But I mean, you could get a really awesome looking Darth Maul bus for with over 3,000 pieces, and I think you could do it for just over $300 or so. UCS sets are almost that expensive, and something that I am actually considering spending my money on is maybe, hey, spend $40 on the instructions and buy the parts used. I think it's a really cool display piece that you could have on yourself.
All right, and next up we have Cave God, the UCS Sandcrawler. I believe his account name on Rebrickable is All Out Brick, and this set, or I should say mock, has 12,119 pieces. Absolutely incredible. Now the Sandcrawler in general, I think, is a pretty sweet set to take a crack at of making a big mock. For one, they've made a really good UCS set version of this set with just over 3,000 pieces. However, the scale of this set, when you think about it in the movies and everything like that, it's so big in comparison to the characters, and it's really hard to portray that, I would say, in normal Lego size, and especially minifigure scale. Just so, in order to see a mock like this, I think with all the interior aspects to it, the sheer scale of it from the outside, really just it's an absolute incredible feat that he was able to do this, and I would just love to see this in person. To be honest, just have this somewhere on display. I'm not sure how you would display this set, but again, I think this is honestly just a fantastic set to build this type of huge mock with 12,000 pieces because of the scale issues, I think, with the UCS set we have, and I believe it's just fantastic. The instructions are $60. Again, I think very fair, especially the amount of time and effort it obviously took to make this mock. And I've seen a lot of his other builds as well. I think notably he has the AT-AT that's been pretty popular too. So he's definitely a pretty well-known builder, and I would definitely, hopefully down the line one day, I'd be able to build this mock eventually. But again, 12,000 parts. I would say it's going to run you at least, I would say, $1,500 when you think about the part cost and shipping and everything on Bricklink. Definitely would be a big undertaking, but I would say long term, definitely a goal to eventually build this set sometime.
All right, so last but not least, we have the Imperial Star Destroyer, the Eviscerator. Sorry, barely can pronounce that correctly. And this is from Two Impaired. His instructions are actually available through the Brick Vault website, and this contains 19,225 pieces. Just an absolutely massive Imperial Star Destroyer. The detail is absolutely impeccable. I know there's a lot of Star Destroyers out there that there's been mock constructions for, but I think the big differentiator for me on this one is just that upper tier of the Imperial Star Destroyer. The way they were able to layer the greebling, it looks amazing, and I haven't really seen that in some of the other mocks. I think the overall shape is a lot similar to some of the other ones that we've seen, but just the overall size and the way they were able to make the greebling look so similar to the model actually used in the movies is just awesome in my opinion. And this is one of those ones where it's a little bit different than the other one. This one's going to cost you well over $2,000 to build. Just an absolute mammoth of an undertaking, and it would just take so much time to acquire those pieces and extremely expensive. So it's one of those like far out reaching goals. Obviously that's just a lot of money to spend on pieces, but certainly something that I'm interested in later down the line. But the Bricker Builds one's one of those ones that I'm more interested in maybe in the near future, because like I said, it is similar to a UCS set price and something like that. But yeah, this set just looks absolutely amazing. I think the Imperial Star Destroyer is one of the best looking ships in all of Star Wars, especially since we have that 10030 from 2001. It's just an awesome set, and I think having an even cooler one with almost 20,000 pieces would just be awesome to have.
And this brings up a good point, of sort of how we got into this, top three, I would say, Star Wars Mocs. I would say most collectors, you start collecting, you start getting a lot of the UCS sets, whatnot, and eventually I think the Mocs start sort of knocking at your door as something that you become interested in, sort of that, like Kabrick said, that sort of far out collecting goal, something that's not necessarily in the actual LEGO lineup, but something that you'd like to have on display, that you'd like to experience that build or be able to see in person and have. And that's sort of, I think, where we're at a little bit with some of our collecting, especially we're left with a lot of expensive UCS sets.
And ones that have already expired that are already, $600 maybe. In that case, I think spending $600 on a 2,000 piece or 3,000 piece Lego set that they released, obviously the value isn't really there. A lot of it's nostalgic value. Spending that $600, if you're willing to spend that on the actual Lego set, imagine how cool of a mock you could buy for that price. So, obviously the mock prices aren't going to be cheaper, or, they're not going to be cheaper than the actual Lego price or anything like that with current models. But a lot of cases you can find some, pretty cool mocks you can build for that price that are way larger models.
Yeah, and guys, just to wrap up, I mean, we're super impressed by, I would say, the mocks that people can come up with, in this community. Something I don't think that we could ever undertake at all. Just so impressive, and I'm sort of happy to put a little bit of a spotlight on this sort of section of the community. Again, these are sets we don't have, or I would just say mocks we don't have yet, ones we would like to build in the future, and we think deserve definitely a lot of recognition for the effort put in by the designers. And again, all of the links for the websites that they're available on and the instructions and whatnot will be in the description. We'll go ahead and give credit to all of these mock builders. So if you guys are interested in checking them out, potentially other builds, part lists, things like that, that'll be available. Anyway, guys, this is Brickdo signing off.